This is what happens when I'm out of my medicine. There's collateral damage, I gotta go. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I don't wanna be caught up inside your self-righteous symphony. I would rather let this go than to bring it up again. But everyone I know, they're afraid of their own skin. With nothing left to show, we're afraid Where am I going now? Just falling over dreams. Now I'm just so far gone, this isn't what it seems. Taking me so damn long, it's fading from belief. I need to slow this down, it's burning from beneath. Come break this line, the full tomorrow tides. Holding on for what is worth my life. I'm out of time, I'll make it up the vine. Find my way to giants in the sky. Tonight it comes to life.
Hello and welcome to the first ever battle for the Cedar Valley matchups between Wartburg College and the University of Northern Iowa. A little trip up the 218 for these teams in purple. First game we've got tonight is Overwatch. Then we've got a few other things. I'm joined in the broadcast booth by...
I'm Vandy. I'm Steven. I'm from UNI. Taking the trip for today. Love to be here. Love this space. We're super excited to get to play some games today.
I guess, as that's the case, if you don't mind, I'll go to the caster cam that we got here.
Oh, wow. We're really high tech around here. You know, not I'm not used to this one. But yes, hello, I am Vandy. I am Steven. I play Overwatch. I coach the Overwatch team at UNI. We're super excited to be here, play some Overwatch. I'll be here helping casting for Overwatch, and then I can help out with the Marvel Rivals as well if we're going to stream that, hopefully.
I think since it's at the same time as Mario Kart, we're streaming.
Oh, yes, we'll stream Mario Kart.
We're streaming the Mario Kart. So
yes, so Mario Kart will be. Mario Kart's also fun. I'm
That's
going to be
also-
watching Mario Kart. I don't know nothing about Mario Kart, but I will be watching.
that's going to be our first ever Mario Kart stream as well.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
we haven't had, or at least we've had scrimmages, but I haven't been able to be here to stream those because I've been working for my other job. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I think it's all set up and it should be all good, but you can never be too safe, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, it should be fun. Mario Kart's super fun to watch. The things that they can do in that game is really,
It's just
really
absurd.
impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive. I watched them practice, and it's impressive. But we're on Overwatch here first, which is going to be super exciting. We have both teams are in the same NECC division, from my understanding, so it should be a fairly even matchup today, which will be super fun to see. I know, obviously, for you and I, we're going to be swapping people in and out. We're going to be bringing in a lot of our bench players, give everyone a chance to play and have some fun.
It is also a best of 7, as I'll pull up the map pool here. This is the order. Whenever you see hybrid or escort, it can be interchanged. Those are essentially
Yes.
the same game mode, and it's all up to the choose.
Loser, I believe, loser picks mode, winner bans, and then loser picks map.
Yes, that is how it works. And for the control, I believe it's away bans first, so you guys are going to ban first.
Yep.
Then we ban, then you pick, and then we get to pick the time of day. I think is the rules. Unless it goes along with the map pick.
I think it goes ban, and then home team picks
Oh.
map 1.
I could be. I also
Because I
just
believe
could be,
it's their way of giving like home field advantage,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
I could also just be misremembering the rules, despite the fact that I just looked at them. That's always a possibility.
I just coach. I don't read too much of the NECC rulebook. I'm just here to tell them what to do.
I guess that's a good point. But yes, this is going to be the first game going on. We're waiting to actually get into the game.
Yeah, once all players are ready. I know they're still getting set up. We had some players show up a bit late, getting everything set up, logged into Discord, make sure their sensitivity looks good, your sound settings look good.
So I can tell you now what each of our players are playing. I think for the most part, unless I'm misremembering, because I know D-Drag and I think it's just Drag and YOLO Tolo aren't part of our normal rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they are going to be playing the spots that of the players who aren't here right now.
Yes, those will be the two support players.
Yes, okay, I was right in that.
Yep, they'll be the two support players. Because in the lobby goes DPS, tank, support.
I was just making sure. So I guess I'll go over into, don't mind everything else about it, but this is the lineups that we have for today. Of course, Wartburg, Maragaz, Yugatoon, Pickled Poet, D-Drag, and YOLO Tolo. For the UNI side, what are we looking at?
Well, we got Totoro, Mrs. Sir Claps on the DPS, XNL on the tank, Brookie Bear 3, Brooke is what we'll likely call her for short, playing the support, Doomred also playing the support. Likely we'll see Mako and Deep Sea will be swapping in on the tank. We'll see Accident on the DPS a little bit. So everyone will get a chance to play. Like I said, we brought what starters could make it, and then all of our bench players showed up today, so we'll give everyone a chance to play. You made the trek out here. You might as well get to play on some LAN, because nothing beats playing on LAN. I mean, LAN tournaments are where it's at. It's the best way to play. You get all your friends together, all your teams together. You get to meet them in person. So it's always fun when you get a chance to play LAN.
No matter the situation either. If it's a tournament, obviously it's a lot better because there's a lot more people.
There's more people, higher stakes, all that kind
community.
of stuff. But
even
stuff like this is still fun to do. And hopefully this catches on. This could become maybe a yearly thing, semesterly thing, whatever we want to do. It's only a 20-minute drive from Cedar Falls here, so.
Yeah, and I know at least for some of the Smash guys like myself, we do our best to get to any of the weeklies there, the Panthers dens that are in the esports area is a better way to describe it than just a room.
Yeah.
And UNI, but yeah, we do our best to try to make it out.
We call it the lounge, the esports lounge, the gaming lounge, because it is actually shared with our tabletop club as well. So it's more than just esports. It's card games, board games, that kind of stuff, as well as our we have 12 PCs set up down there. So
yeah, I know last year you were in the space that it was in last year was literally just half, and that was kind of funny to see where it was just, well, here's all the PCs. There's one shelf in the middle.
Yep.
And then you got the tabletops.
Yeah, everything's a bit more it's a bit more open. You can kind of see the whole room. It's technically a smaller space, but it's a space that I think we utilize and fill a little bit nicer. So it's definitely nice, and obviously we got new PCs, paid for by the building that has our room in it. So we love our space, and we're very grateful for it, to have a permanent space that we don't particularly have to pay an arm and a leg to get.
Yeah, of course. The space here is a lot more different given the fact that we are a recognized athletics program.
Yes,
So
at UNI, we are just a student-ran club.
Yeah.
So
That's always an interesting thing, no matter the level. A lot of the, I guess, NCAA Division I schools, a lot of them won't directly sponsor esports. And so, even though they aren't directly sponsored, they are typically some of the better schools at every game because, one, you have the student body to make up a good team, and two, a lot of nerds go to big schools.
well, I think it's also the idea of bigger schools having the money to actually properly recruit and give scholarship money out to these these high schoolers who are top 500 players in whatever game they're playing. So having the scholarship money is a big thing when it comes to like recruiting.
Yeah.
And so it's something that UNI doesn't do because we're a student-ran club, so we can't really give out scholarships. We get the same student budget that say like the chess club would get. We love the chess club. They're also actually pretty active on campus, but it's definitely a struggle, especially when it comes to like hosting events. We host the events that we can, but sometimes it's a bit harder when your budget's a bit limited. But nonetheless, we're super grateful for the space that we have, and shout out Mike Bobbledike, the leader of Mocker Union, where we have our room set up. He's the one who really kind of organized all that stuff and helped us get an actual permanent space. So
yeah, it's always nice to. I know the first year of the esports program, we were in the basement of one of the dorms.
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
And I think, actually, Iowa State has something similar where they're just in a big room with tables of computers lined up. And that's what we used to have, where it was just kind of an open space, lights, the fluorescent lights always on because there's no other lights in the room, unlike what we got here with the LEDs and the strips, which I think looks pretty sweet.
It does. It looks really nice. It's got a nice atmosphere. It's not too bright.
Now, of course, this room is the exception.
Well lit, very well lit.
It's actually there's the slider on that is the one for the brightness.
Oh, interesting.
So that's always whenever I get a little too tired, I'll turn up the brightness so that I won't fall asleep.
No, this is a great space. We've been talking about trying to get a proper stream room set up. Currently, our casters just do it from home and in their own personal setups, but we would love to get like an actual stream room set up. But we have a lot of our casters are alumni, so they're kind of tuning in from wherever they are. We appreciate all of our casters, and yeah, I don't know how close we are to getting on your way here.
I am rep level 1, so I can't tell. I'm not in game chat because I can't be in game chat. Which also I don't know why it defaults you to rep 1. I'll be honest. That's a grievance I've brought up in every single Overwatch stream, is that it defaults you to rep level 1.
Oh, interesting.
You would assume it would default you to like 3,
so you can
go
type in
up.
Chat.
You can go first, yes, at least level 2, so I can see anything that's going on.
Oh, you can't even see the chat.
No, well I can do this. Oh, if I tap into the game, maybe that would help. I can pull up the chat.
But you can't see it.
I cannot see a single message that is being sent.
Love Blizzard, small indie company.
Small indie company. Activision is also very small. That's just, which is why
small.
They had to merge, actually.
Yeah, it's why they had to merge, 100%. That's the reason. It was not for any monetary gain. It was actually for the survivability of the company.
Precisely. This is going to be, I think this is definitely the biggest event that we've hosted in this space, quite frankly, outside of just any showcases for any things. As we have here on Wartburg College campus, today is our scholarship day, so hopefully we'll have a few people coming in and checking out what's going on. And if anything, this is probably the best time to do it.
Yeah.
A nice big event where we have a bunch of people coming in.
Right.
Things are always
There's
active.
There's admissions event going on downstairs. That's what that is.
Yep.
So, maybe you get some incoming high schoolers who are, considering where they want to go, and they come up and they see a space like this and an event like this going on. That's a great incentive for doing. I know our esports lounge is on the tour route on campus. We made sure we got on the tour route, so whenever a freshman comes in or a high schooler comes in and gets their campus tour, they always go past the esports lounge and they get a little bit of information about that. So
Yeah, it's always nice, and even if you aren't interested at all, it's something interesting to learn about your school.
yeah,
The
that
fact
they
that
have
it
it.
has a space.
Yeah,
I know for a fact that we are also, because of course we got our skywalks. We're just one big horseshoe basically for the entire campus. So everyone passes by this no matter what, even if they're not going
Sure.
inside. It's getting talked about because you got the big old esports on the side of the wall.
yeah.
So it's always there.
Our room is a bit off the trail a bit, so it's definitely nice to make sure that we're on that tour route so that people at least see it and are aware of it when they come in, and hopefully as more incoming freshman groups come in, more and more people know about it, and then hopefully numbers go up and maybe eventually we get a little bit more funding and support from the school.
Yeah.
Not that we get plenty of support from the building that we're in, and obviously that's campus resources, but we would love to get some proper recruiting going on and not just basically a bunch of volunteers.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that's the one thing that's really nice about, and the difference between a school-sponsored team and a just club essentially is obviously the funding of it, because we're able to use athletics funds. As a D3 school, we aren't allowed to give athletic scholarships, so that's something that we can't do as a program. But it's just more the fact that if we want to do something, we can just go through athletics instead of having to go through like the group fund or whatever
Sure.
it is for any of the campus activities.
Yeah, we have to for any of our funding, we have to go through student government like every other club, and there's like 150 plus clubs on campus, and they all need money, and there's only so much money to go around, and so if you're not, sometimes you don't quite get everything that you need, and it kind of cuts your what you can do events wise. So that's why we love coming to things like this, because it gives our players an opportunity to come play on a bigger scale event and get to experience how other schools get to live their esports lives, and
Yeah.
it's always fun. It's also great inspiration for like things you could do for a space of like I love the lighting in here. If we could try to mimic that in our room.
Yep, we're good. We just got the okay that we should be getting into
I'm very excited.
games
I wonder
soon.
what map we will be starting on.
Again, just a quick refresher, this is what it will look like, barring any ties, of course. If it goes to a tie, I think it's another push after that.
Yes, it just resets the order for best of 7. So it'll go control, hybrid, escort, push, and then it will go flashpoint, escort, control, hybrid, or escort. And then I believe maps that are banned previously. So when we go back to hybrid or escort later, the previous map bans are still in effect. It's just to try to not play the same maps and also get an additional ban. So it really kind of there's plenty of maps in those pools to pick from, but it definitely kind of limits your options, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what team comps get rolled out on when those limited map options come up.
Yeah. Is there any game mode in particular that you guys find yourself enjoying more? Because I know for a fact that we have a few where we're better at.
We definitely enjoy playing. We definitely enjoy playing like escort or hybrid. Those are those are synonymous game modes with Overwatch. Of like you get maps like Kings Row, Hollywood. Those are like the original Overwatch maps. But we find push to be a lot of fun. We enjoy playing push a lot. Our team seems pretty good on push. It's always nice that in NECC in our best of 5 where it's limited to it cuts off those last 2 maps. It's just those first 5.
Yep.
We always get to play push, and it's always either going to be a map that we can at least find our footing on and maybe get a turnaround on if we're losing, or it's a way for us to close out maps. So we love having that in the middle because we really like push.
Yeah. I know. So we us here at Wartburg, we also really like the push maps. For the MVEC, which we do as part of
Missouri Valley Conference.
Yeah, the Missouri Valley Esports Conference. You get to pick, essentially. It's not a set in stone. The only thing set is the fact that the first game is going to be Control, and it seems like for this first one...
Tower.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower.
It's a classic Control map.
Anytime that we get a choice in what to do, because it's always loser picks. There's not a set order. The first thing that we seem to be picking every single time is always just push instantly.
Yeah. It's a good tone. If you're good at it, it's a way to get yourself back in the game or keep the pressure up after you've played, map 1. So, but I do like NECC. I like having the set map pools. I like opening on control because it's truly the most even of game modes.
We are about to get into the game.
So we get to start on the bridges, as we like to call them. Gotta watch out for that pond. It's deadly. I would not be surprised if we saw some Lucios on either side. Maybe some wrecking ball action. Who knows? Likely on the side of UNI, we're probably gonna see some kind of a Reinhardt. We'll see some kind of a rush comp. I don't know what to expect from Wartburg. I haven't seen you guys play yet this semester.
It's a lot of similar things in terms of what you would expect from the meta.
Yeah.
Pickled Poet, our tank, though, is very good at a lot of different tanks. It really changes it up depending on what is needed.
Yeah, UNI has a lot. We have a lot of tank players, and they're all very good at a handful of tanks. So we like to swap around where we can, utilize that roster depth that we have. We have 9 players on our NECC roster, so not quite enough for 2 teams, but enough to have some roster depth and some swap around. And obviously, UNI is going to look to TP to the point here. Mr. Circlaps looking to get some early damage in on the Sojourn. Mr. Circlaps is a Valorant player, a big Valorant player, so he loves his characters with some aim.
This is going to be really interesting for me because normally when I'm running the streams here, I just always have to focus on the Wartburg perspective because we're the only ones represented on the comms.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a real test to see how fast my fingers move on these function keys.
I'm gonna butcher a lot of these Wartburg names. I bet. We got what, Mazrog,
Maragaz.
Maragaz. You're gonna have to help me with these. So Pickle Poet,
Maragaz.
Maragaz.
Yep.
D-Rag, Yolo Tolo, and what is it? Yagatoon. Yugatoon. All right. You guys are gonna make me work for my my free paycheck. Mr. Circlaps is getting some early picks here. I was kind of glossing over this first fight here with a UNI taking control of the point, cleaning up the fight. Mr. Circlaps is getting a few nice shots in with the Sojourn. 59% to that ultimate. Sigma ult being at 83% is a pretty sizable difference in tank ult. So that Sigma ult's likely going to come online first. UNI will look to get that ult early. Really? As Wartburg's going to look to take the left side here, Ramatra using his form to get there a bit faster is going to have to wait for that to come up before he can properly push in. Shoot online. XNL finding a early pick on Yugatoon. Sigult coming out, looking to just pick up the Ramatra with it. Ramatra has block out. It's going to be able to tank a lot of damage, but unfortunately, you cannot block the rock.
Ramatra's a really interesting pick for Pickled Poet, not one that he finds himself going often. It's a rotation of typically 3 heroes. A lot of the times he starts it on Hazard, I'll be honest, and then eventually Winston will find his way in, but Ramatra isn't really something that I've seen from him personally.
It's a very good Ramatra map. Obviously, this is a great rush map as Totoro is just teleports right out, gets in, gets some damage, and TP's out. The Kiriko getting a bit in danger. Doomred living life a bit dangerously here. As Pickle Poet's going to look to clear out these sim turrets, is really having a hard time with this Ramatra to his back and the sim turrets to it. As Wartburg ults, they get the Lucio beat drop coming in, looking to take some advantage with it. They use, however, it is the counter ult. They're just dumping all of these ults. Juno ult comes out on the side of Brook to keep UNI alive. XNL finds 2 picks. Mr. Circlaps finds another hit. Another Sigma ult. He is just farming the Sigma ults in this game. As UNI is going to win point 1 fairly decisively. They took the point. They held the chokes. XNL charging his ultimates real fast, getting 2 ultimates there.
Yeah.
Wartburg just kind of went in, had all their ults. They ult dumped. Good counter ults from the side of UNI to fend them off. The Juno ult coming in last to get everyone back up to full health, not utilizing it too early. Very well done by UNI. I'll be curious to see if Wartburg makes some swaps here to maybe counteract this XNL Sigma, because it is currently running around pretty free and uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is like that, where once you just get control of the point, it's very hard to, or once you lose control of the point, it's very hard to fight for it again. You kind of just have to set up, you kind of blockade everything, and realistically, it's a lot more easy to just sit where you are instead of having to find a way around things.
UNI taking the white room here. This is the typical room you want to hold. You want to hold on this point as XNL's getting booped back in. They find the pick on XNL. Now they can go in. That Ramatra is free. All guns firing. As Wartburg is going to tick over the point early here. As the UNI tank falls, the whole team backs out, and they says, "All right, let's reset and go back in." A great fight from Wartburg. Yolo Tolo finding the boop on the Sigma to knock him back into his team and get an early pick. But Mr. Circlaps finding an early pick on the Mei. Finding another one on Yolo Tolo on the Lucio. Mr. Circlaps is just kind of sitting there and clicking heads right now. Wartburg's going to look to hold this point, but again, without that Lucio speed to back up, or the Baptiste Immortality field, there's not much sustainability left for them. And I think this is the hard part about playing against Sigma, is that Sigma has so much self-sustain. He has the ability to keep himself up. He's got his grasp. He can get health back from that. He's got a portable shield. He has a CC. He's able to keep himself alive in a lot of these fights and isn't as reliant on his supports as Ramatra is. As the Baptiste window comes out, they're going to look to get the pick here on XNL. Can they get the tank to go down? Yes, they can, as they find 2 more picks to go along with it. That's no supports for UNI, just the DPS up. As an excellent usage of the Baptiste window, the amplifying window, to get an early fight win here. Now they can start taking this point over, as Wartburg seems to now be settling in to this game, and they have some good momentum going right now. But the Ramatra getting a little too out there. May's got wall. See if we can get any sneaky picks with the high noon. Nothing, as it goes into the Sigma shield. Ramatra ult coming in from Pickle Poet. He's going to help pick up XNL, and he is going in there for free. That's 2. Can he get a 3rd? Juno's trying to get away. Juno will get back to spawn, but a good fight win here, as UNI is now on their back heels, is going to have to look to get something going here, as Wartburg ticks over 80% on this point.
They do. UNI does have both of their support also. Their first
one of
goes
them's
to
going to come out early, but the Mei Blizzard is going to shut that down right away. UNI is getting cleaned up, and that might be it. You have to wonder if perhaps holding on to those other 2 ultimates for UNI was the difference maker there. You know, perhaps the Juno ult could have saved them in the Mei Blizzard, or the Sim Wall could have helped protect from line of sight of that Blizzard. I know that's the one. That's a big thing with your, if Blizzard comes out, you throw line of sight, take away its line of sight with a shield, like a Sim Wall. Can't see you, can't freeze you. You're free to go.
I mean, it did happen with the high noon.
Yeah.
That was blocked straight up by the Sigma
by the
wall.
Sigma shield, and you had Sim Wall. You got to use it. You know, this last fight. This isn't Marvel Rivals, people. We can't save our ultimates for next round.
One thing that, if you haven't been paying much attention to Overwatch recently, because you might have been paying attention to a game like Rivals, you'll see on the right there above the ammunition 2 little circles. Those are the perks which have just been introduced to the game, and they make quite a difference.
They do. They definitely do. It's so. Just a little explanation of them is throughout the course of the game, when you play a character, you gain XP, and you level up twice. So level 2 and then to level 3. Level 2, you get your options of 2 minor perks. Every character has a handful of them, so some of them are, you know, as simple as, you know, getting to headshot with Ana, or, you know, maybe your Sigma Rock does a little bit more. But then you get to major perks at level 3, where Sigma can just fly.
I think
So
that is.
I think that's what XNL has picked. It's sort of like a double jump. They're still very new. We're still learning how to play with them. This is the first week that NECC is going to allow perks. So it'll be really interesting to see how they affect the meta, as XNL finds a pick on the supports. Brook goes down, however. XNL in the middle of the fight here manages to take down the Cassidy, but also goes down to Pickle Poet. Mr. Circlaps finding the pick though on Pickle Poet. Mr. Circlaps finding an early headshot. Not an early headshot, a late headshot, but
I do think that the fact that it is XP per character instead of just overall is really going to change how people think about.
Counter-swapping.
Yeah, I think it's really going to change it because once you give up on a character, essentially, you kind of just
super far behind.
Yeah, you're starting so far behind everyone else.
Which I think is really nice. I think counter-swapping has kind of been, I mean, it's a big core mechanic of Overwatch is knowing how to counter-swap and knowing your matchups, as Mr. Circlaps looks to get some picks with the Sojourn ultimate. Totoro falling to a Reaper swap, which is just tearing its way through the team. As UNI falls. Get a little bit of percentage on the point. I love the Reaper swap. I think Reaper with his perks where he can fire both shotguns at the same time, get a little extra range. I think Reaper's actually a really good pick right now. He's a comfort pick for a lot of DPS characters too. He's very simple, very easy kit, doesn't require a whole lot of aim either. He's definitely one of my comfort picks whenever I'm playing. As Pickle Poet's getting a bit aggressive with his Ramatra ult here, but it's going to get picked up by the Sigma ult and go down. Yugitoon falls to XNL, but can they make their way towards the point here? They're looking for that Reaper. They know he's around the area. They heard him teleport. XNL getting on the supports, but the Lucio beat drop comes in to save the Baptiste. And that's going to allow Pickle Poet to get back. Kitsune comes out from UNI. And that is going to do it for this fight. As really, it's a support differential in that fight of utilizing the ultimates, finding the survivability, keep yourselves alive, because neither support from the side of Wartburg went down that fight. That's the biggest thing, is if you're letting your supports go down, you know, you're doing something wrong. You need to keep those supports up, and they got to help you. They got to make sure they're helping each other. As we see the Zarya swap for XNL into the Ramatra, could be a difficult matchup.
Well, it seems like it, especially given the rushdown that's happening right now.
Yolo Tolo picking up 3 on the Lucio.
There's the wipe, and it seems like that's going to be it.
That is going to be map 1, it looks like, unless UNI can get back fast with Doomrad. Oh, they might get the Wrecking Ball there in time. They do. They get a touch, but is it going to be too little, too late as the Juno ult comes in? Juno falls. No one else is going to get there in time, and that's going to be map 1. Going to Wartburg as we go 1-0. Wartburg really finding their footing there in those last 2 points after a pretty decisive map 1, and finds their footing, find the comp that works for them, and
yeah, this is to be expected at XNL. That
XNL had a great first map and had a great, you know, second and third map, but in the end, I think it's the Wartburg supports who you said were filling in nonetheless.
Yeah, they are part of, well, I guess they would be technically our bench players, but they are part of our JV team. Our main 2 supports aren't able to make it, at least for the start of it. I don't know if they'll be showing up later. But yeah, I mean, even then, just because they're our JV squad here doesn't mean they're any worse at all.
Yeah, no, they stepping up to the plate, you know, next man up mentality. I do need to go. I need to go do my coaching duties. I will be right back, people at home. I got to go, you know, inform my team how we're going to play.
You're going to take that off. I muted you so you don't got to worry about it moving around. But yeah, first game going to Wartburg, 2-1 after a troublesome first round for them. They didn't get a single second, essentially, on the point. They cap it there. Now UNI is going to have to respond in some sort of way on either a hybrid or an escort. It's going to be interesting to find out which it will be. I think, personally speaking, I am much more a fan of the hybrid, I'll be honest. I think just getting, what's it called? I think fighting for a point prior to is a lot more fun, I'll be honest. I think, well, always pushing things, not in the push, but in escort, it has its has its moments. I think fighting for an initial point makes it a lot more interesting because, well, then things aren't always moving. You got to establish some sort of ground. It's really going to be interesting to see first what changes might be made on the UNI side, as I do have more people here. Nothing so far. Thank you to everyone for tuning in, whether from Cedar Falls or from Waverly, or really anywhere in between or outside of the Cedar Valley. I really do appreciate it. Got a lot of games that are going to be going on today. I think actually I can add a screen that will show just what is going on. I have to make a new one, which is annoying. Hold on. Well, let's see. I'll get this. Fret not. Fret not. There's a few things here. I'll just add image, show it to image 3, browse, and then go to the downloads. I think it's this one. Yep, this is everything that is going on today in the battle for the Cedar Valley. Of course, this Overwatch 2 at 1 o'clock. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 2:30. All rivals also at 2:30. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will be the one that's streamed, as said previously. Then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 4. Rocket League at 5. So essentially, you win 3, you win the event, even though there's not really anything in specific for the entire event in terms of winning outside of just the pride of it.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yes.
So Mako is now in for the side of UNI for tank. Obviously, I just went and made the swap. Mako is mostly a Winston and Roadhog player, so I would expect to see those things today.
There it is.
Initiating match.
Yep. There it is. Watchpoint Gibraltar. And now we'll get into the game to see how this one falls. I don't think Gibraltar's really one that I've seen too often being picked.
Ready for battle.
It's definitely not a first choice for a lot of teams. I know UNI particularly likes playing Havana, which Havana was a map ban from the side of Wartburg. So I
need to remember this map. My goodness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
there's a lot of height on this map, so you can expect to see some Winston. You can expect to see some Widowmaker. There's a lot of height. There's a lot of verticality to it. Obviously, both teams opt in to go for the Winston, so it'll be a Mako versus Pickle Poet Winton duel. We love to see it. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Yolotolo gets with the Winston dive, if he follows the Winston dive in, or if he just looks to sit back and help speed boost his team out, as Mako's going to look to get some early chip damage here. All of you and I choosing to hold this room here as Mako gets a bit low. Or sorry, I got confused here on the sides. Wartburg is actually on the defense. Mako was the one diving into the top, as Wartburg is deciding to hold the room.
I will say, if you are following the Wartburg Esports channel on Twitch, you are watching right now, if you do follow, you do get a free Winton emote to use in the chat. So, just a little plug there.
We love the Winton emotes. As Mako falls, that's going to give Pickle Poet free range to go in. Gets slept by Doomred. However, Doomred does fall.
That is one thing that is quite normal to see from Wartburg when it's one of our other support's biggest avows playing. Very much first choice is Ana every single time, almost no matter what. Which is going to be really interesting to see how it's going to be to play without the Ana for Wartburg.
Well, they're playing the Kiriko Lucio comp, which is pretty meta right now. Both supports obviously really good. They complement each other really well. So you know, if you could play Lucio and Kiriko, you can be in a pretty good spot. Ana's obviously really good to have. It's gonna be really tough with the with Pickle Poet jumping in on the Ana pretty much every time and really hard focusing these DPS and supports down and not really giving Mako the support that he needs to go in. Pickle Poet is putting on a masterclass right now on the monkey.
Nice back push though from Totoro. Decent amount of progress on it.
Just a decent amount of progress. Totoro's really got to start focusing in on the Winston diving though. Someone's got to feel for those supports that are going to have a hard time, and it's got to be the Reaper. Sleep Dart missed off Doomred. That's going to be a free kill. As accidents running around. Accident is obviously putting in two of our quote-unquote JV players. You know, we didn't have enough for a JV team this year, but obviously it's things like this that are really fun because it gives them an opportunity to play in a competitive environment and really see what they have. And obviously, with the nice part about having depth is not having to have a particularly set roster. We can move people up and down. You can have a next man up mentality. And ECC only cares about what rank your starters are, which obviously it's just your, I believe it goes based off your 6 highest ranked players is what they do a lot of their balancing off of.
I think it is, yeah.
And then they did obviously the placement tournament to determine further where everyone would be, as Mako's looking to get something done with the Winston ult. Does manage to pick up the kill on Pickle Poet, as UNI is looking to get a little bit of momentum, but Yolo Tolo taking 2 down with him as it becomes a Reaper duel. The Venture ult coming out, looking to get the pick on the enemy Reaper. It's now Reaper versus Winton, and Winton with that Tesla cannon, the Feather Duster. However, the stall from Wartburg's DPS is going to help them get their tank and 2 supports back to contest this point further, but the Kitsune coming out from UNI is going to shut a lot of that down. However, Reaper ult comes out, Pickle Poet finds 2 picks. They're going to be able to hold this point even further, as we now only have 10 seconds left. UNI is going to be panicked to try to get a touch here, or else this could be over real fast.
And yeah, that's a real short push. Wartburg is definitely able to do it, but just given how that hold was, I think a lot of it was just not running up and getting onto the point a lot of the time.
And I think UNI needs it's the difference in Winston dives. Wartburg Pickle Poet having the support on the Winston to be able to dive in, and maybe Mako's not generating as much pressure on that backline as Pickle Poet was, and just the little differences in how much pressure you're generating is makes all the difference when it comes to playing something like a Winston dive. And both teams not really playing the quintessential Winston dive, more of like a rush Winston with the Lucio and the Kiri, or the Kiri and the Ana. Typically with a true Winston dive, you'll want like a Tracer in there. The Reapers usually like to come in because the Reapers can go in with you as well, or maybe a Genji. UNI is without Unlasting or Roadkill today, which is their 2 highest ranked players. So definitely trying to find the fills. Unlasting, an excellent DPS player, one of the best that UNI has seen in a while. But him and I won a bit of a championship together, so I got a soft spot for Unlasting. As Mako is going to look to get some early damage on the Echo, as Totoro falls early on the Widowmaker. Accident goes down. No DPS for UNI. But the Venture going off the map. There's no rocks down there. That's the ocean.
I think that's happened a few times where it's just a case of mispositioning. It's actually the second time we've seen Yugatun fall off a map on a stream.
We have an incident known as the Suzu incident, back when Suzu had a little bit of knockback. 2 players fell off the map to a Suzu, As Mr. Cirque Collapse is pulling out the Kiriko, he's had enough. Find some headshots, as that Kiriko headshot damage is just absolutely insane how much damage that Kiriko can do as a support. 2-tapping with headshots. And this is back to Mr. Cirque Collapse bread and butter. He can play the DPS, he can play the Kiriko. But Wartburg showing equal amounts of flexibility with their team comps, really being able to, they've kind of rolled out with something different every map is what I'm noticing.
Yeah, it's a lot of really just doing what's needed, and if there's anything that's, you know, gonna help the team, everyone's pretty well versed at a bunch of different characters in their classes.
Mako finds the pick on the Kiriko. Totoro finding the pick on Venture. Yellow Toto falls. Mazrag falls.
The first team wipe, at least of the Wartburg offense.
Even I managing to hold right here, but Wartburg just can kind of sit back, charge up their ultimates, and then just kind of ult dump. They don't have too far to push that payload, so if they can find one team kill, it's over. However, this Mako Winston's going to be difficult to take down, as he does have access to his ultimate, but so does Pickle Poet coming up on that ult. The Winston ult comes in, he's chasing down that Lucio. Can he get the juggle off? It doesn't look like it. Puts himself in a rough spot, finds himself getting picked, goes a little too deep, a little too much dip on the chip. Pickle Poet going in.
Both Kiriko
Lucio
ults.
beat drop comes out, both Kiriko ults come out, as Pickle Poet is just gonna look to... He's angry, he's in charge, large and in charge. Pickle Poet's looking, he's seeing red. I'm loving the Venture pick as well out of the side of Wartburg. I really like the Venture pick into the Winston, because you have so much survivability on the Venture to get away from him. You can really kind of bully him around a bit. As the Tire comes out, gets nothing. The Suzu comes out from the copied Kiriko. An excellent play there. Venture ult comes out looking to get 4. And that, I think, is going to do it. Unless the Winston can stall.
Depends on how long for.
That'll be it. A fairly... definitely closer than you might have thought after that first defense from Wartburg. I think Wartburg is taking the 2-0 lead here in a best-of-7 series. Obviously, anything can happen, but that you definitely love to see that, especially going into push, like we talked about, both teams' more favored maps being push. I think we have the potential to maybe either see a full sweep, or maybe we'll see a full 7 matches, full 7 maps. Who knows?
It will be really interesting to see how things go. I'll let you get back to your coaching ways. As yeah, 2-0 in favor of the Knights. Gonna be really interesting to see how these next few matches fall. Because, especially as this has been discussed, push is quite a favorite between these two teams. It's going to be really interesting to see if it swings momentum at all, given the fact that the 3-0 is probably the most demoralizing place to be in. Of course, it's always possible to come back, but once you're down 3-0, it's really hard to. I mean, even in professional sports, it's very hard to come back. I watch a lot of traditional professional sports, and I can't tell you the amount of 3-0 comebacks that I've seen, if any, if ever. And so it's going to be interesting to see if it makes any difference. It looks like we might be going to Colosso. Wait to see if that's for certain. But yes, a push map guaranteed. And after that, Flashpoint might be the decider, or it might be the second stage it might be one of the stages in UNI's comeback for this first game. Do not forget, 2:30. Pull that back up. Oh, if I can. 2:30. We will have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe running alongside Marvel rivals. Don't be missing that. I want to make sure it is going to be. It will be.
Yo,
Yep, Coliseo.
Coliseo for push. This is. If Roadkill was here, you'd see the hazard. XNL is here, you might not see the hazard. You could see, this is a map that really, you can play whatever you want on this map. I find that most tanks really like Coliseo.
It's really interesting. I think one thing for certain that Overwatch does is just building the areas around it. And while it may not sometimes feel like it's great to play on, they find ways to give lines of sight every single place, really. They make it so it is gameplay first, and then every single detail about it just adds to how it feels.
Yeah. So it'll definitely be interesting. XNL rolling out on the Queen. Wartburg coming out with the same comp they had last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it,
That is what it happens to be a lot of the times for Wartburg. If something goes well for them, they'll stick to it until something happens. Well, they'll have to break it.
Yeah. So obviously Mr. Circlaps going back on the DPS, trying to utilize those Valorant skills that he has, that aim. As this is really going to be can XNL disrupt the Winston enough on the Queen? That's what this map is going to come down to. As XNL is running at Pickle Poet, Totoro back on the Widowmaker, finds an early pick on Reaper. Doomrad finding the pick on
Maragaz.
You guys have
Trust me.
you guys have a mouthful of names.
I
am just naming characters at this point.
No, when I first saw Maragaz on the rosters, he played Smash as well.
Maragaz, Yagatoon. Yugatoon. Put another O in there. Put another O in there, why don't you?
I also could be wrong, quite frankly. There's no guarantee that I'm right.
Pickle Poet's my favorite player. I like YOLO Tolo too. That's a fun name. As we go back, there is an Overwatch game going on while we have this conversation about team names. As Mr. Class finds the pick, as UNI is on their back heels here. Yukitoon on this venture has been a thorn in UNI's side. And Pickle Poet now swapping to the Orisa. That's going to give Totoro a bit more free range on the Widowmaker. One of his more favorite characters is this Widowmaker. So we'll see if he can manage to get some early picks here, or if he's going to get bullied by this this Venture a bit more. Venture is getting a bit in there, but finds the pick on Circlaps, is still in the back line. Yugatoon smells rocks.
You might have seen the Japanese tag there. I guess that does kind of lead me to a question about your guys' team. We have not much, but at least some international players here. Do you guys have anything like that? Yugatoon, obviously Japanese, since hence the Japan tag. But do you guys have anything like that, or is it mostly just
It's
American?
mostly Iowa locals. So, and a lot of that comes from, a lot of our Overwatch players are, they're just people who happen to be going to UNI who also like playing Overwatch. There's not a whole lot of recruitment that can really go on. We don't have like an official, you guys have Fish here, and you have a professional here whose job is to manage esports, and UNI doesn't quite have that right now. So when it comes to like a lot of people are just local people from around Iowa.
Yeah, a lot of ours is like that as well.
Yeah.
Or it's just, I know for a fact that we have quite a few international players. I know we have one Thai player who would have been playing Rainbow Six Siege if that team stayed around.
Yeah, we have a CS:GO player that's from Russia, and he's incredible. But obviously we don't have enough players for a CS:GO team here. As Pickle Poet finds a pick on Doomrad, Yugatoon finding Circlaps. Gonna be another fight win for Wartburg, as the Orisa swap seems to be working out pretty well for them, as they now will start pushing the spot to the checkpoint, get that close spawn, and we'll look to
I guess
increase this lead.
that's one character that I honestly keep forgetting that Pickle Poet happens to play quite often.
The horse.
Yep.
This has potential to be a deadly ult here. Yugatun going underground is going to try to get out. Is going to try to find a pick here. Manages to get out. Venture gets a disgusting combo coming in, but only gets one pick with it. UNI's looking to stabilize, but Brook goes down. They're down to the DPS, down to support. It's going to be hard to stabilize without those. XNL on to the Zarya. A bit of a counter swap for the Orisa. Manages to find a pick on D-Rag. Yugatun goes down. Pickle Poet goes down. Zarya swap seems to be working.
Almost a team wipe, but at least a decent pushback.
Yeah, they can push back. They can cancel this short spawn, and they're going to have to string together a couple wins here if they want to get caught back up. A couple fight wins are going to have to come in clutch here. Back to the Winston now for Pickle Poet. The Nano Visor coming in. Is he able to find anyone with it? They do find Yolotolo with it. But Brook goes down to a flanking Reaper. Pickle Poet jumps in, finds the pick on Doomrad. That's no supports for UNI. They're going to have to back up, or else this Winston is going to run wild. Yeah, and these UNI gets a bit of momentum, but Wartburg just comes back, reclaims that momentum, and keeps the push going. They keep getting back to neutral, and UNI just cannot win these neutral fights.
Another big thing, UNI never really crossed I guess they did cross the center there, so the spawn is pushed back. But right after this,
Get it right back.
that spawn's moved again.
When Circlaps finds the pick on D-Rag, though, XNL finds a big Zarya ult, but Yugatun is going in the backline, finds two picks on Brook and Mr. Circlaps. The Winston escapes with his life, but they're going to look to push us back to neutral, and now UNI, they have to win this neutral fight. If they want to get back in this game, back in this series, they got to win this neutral fight. This is the map that they have to have, because going down 3-0 in a best of 7, reverse sweep, very rare, very unlikely.
It's also very hard on the morals. I know I said it when you were out there talking to the players, but
Very quiet.
it's a lot harder. Obviously, winning 4 games is hard by itself, but it's especially harder when you have to do those all in a row with the risk of one loss and it's over.
Yeah. Pickle Poet going in with the Winston ult. Again, neutral fight won by Wartburg. It's these neutral fights that are really getting UNI. They're able to hold their home spawn here fairly well, but they're just not able to get these neutral fights as time is just ticking away. They only have 3 minutes now to catch up. The Diva swap now out of XNL. But UNI, you can definitely tell they're definitely missing roadkill and unlast right now. Missing your top DPS and your top tank is always hard to make up for, but the next man up mentality says the show must go on.
Yeah, and even then, in a case where this is not the only game we have, there are quite a few games where UNI seems to be the much better team, so it's going to be really interesting to see how these things end up.
I'm very excited for Mario Kart.
I am really too.
I'm super excited for Mario Kart.
It will also be my first time actually seeing the Mario Kart team, as they're
gonna
final
full cap.
push.
Yeah, we don't even need time on this one. That's a full cap. Wartburg will get the win, as UNI now faces the daunting task of a potential reverse sweep. I'm hoping for it just because I want to see more Overwatch.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to kill.
Wartburg playing incredible. I love how they play. They play great.
It's a lot of. Watched that a little too long. Went back to the.
We like play of the game.
I like it. I just don't like it when I miss the timing and then we see the menus.
Ah,
I like
yeah.
to I try to keep an air of professionality. Because if you got to get back out there, talk to the players,
Yeah, I'm going to go make final swap, and then I'll be right back.
yeah, I keep a air of professionality in these streams. $22 viewers in here. Quite a few. Thank you again to everyone who is tuning in, whether that be from you and I, from Wartburg, or really from anywhere. If you just found the stream, thank you for tuning in for the Battle of the Cedar Valley. Quite a few things that are going to be going on. One game away is Wartburg from the sweep. Then after, it will be Mario Kart on stream. Marvel Rivals will also be being played. Get the final graphics ready for this to post on the socials. It's one fun thing about my job is I get to do everything. I'm acting like I'm complaining. It is quite fun. So good there.
I'm
Welcome-
back, ready to go.
Back to the booth.
We'll see what map they pick. Brooke wanted to see the setup.
Oh yeah, this is how we run the stream.
But yeah, so we're gonna see how this goes on. We're gonna see how this goes on Flashpoint. We're gonna get to see Deep Sea in on the tank now. So Deep Sea gets a chance to make a big name for himself. You know, if he can get this win here, and we can turn the ship around a bit.
Did you want to hop on the comms or you just want to watch it? Sounds good. I will say, so this monitor that we have here, it used to be really old and really bad.
Yeah.
It was almost a complete square, and this is brand new. So I'm very glad we have this. It's new and it's a lot cleaner. I actually think this is better image than the main one, if I'm being honest.
It looks good. It's a great setup you guys have in here. So
Also, little stream deck. I cannot tell you how many times I wish this didn't have to be plugged in,
right.
so that I could just sit at the
Right.
table. That would be so nice.
Can I get like an extension for it? Is it what, USB plug-in?
It is, however, it is tied into this specific. I was not part of the setting up of the room.
Yeah.
I just have done my best to make it
Sure.
as good as possible. As you can tell, we have some fun with cords. Yeah, it's always fun.
We love fun with cords. Servasa the pick, it looks like.
If I can find the there it is. Yep, that's what it's looking like. At least that's what's the preview. Again, I cannot read chat. I'm rep level 1 on my account.
You gotta stop trash talking in chat, you know, you gotta be more honorable.
I never got the opportunity to trash talk. That's the problem.
Well, clearly you did something wrong.
I made an account. That's what the problem was.
Small indie company, remember.
Yep. I am curious to see how because I just know that they're back. I actually haven't read anything about how loot boxes are.
They are, you get them through challenges now. You get them through like your weekly challenges and all that kind of stuff, and then you can get Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1 cosmetics through them. So that is that's a nice change. Obviously, we love seeing our loot boxes come back. They made some good changes. I mean, they made if you look on like Steam, you know, Steam, it was overwhelmingly negative reviews, and now in the last 2 weeks or so, it's gotten back up to mixed for recent reviews. So they've definitely made some good changes, some turnaround. We'll see if they can sustain this type of change, and if they can keep up with the changes, not make this be like, okay, this is a one-time thing to try to, you know, pull players back from rivals. If they can be a, like I said, I said when Rivals was gonna come out, I said Marvel Rivals would be the best thing that happens to Overwatch.
Yeah, it's finally some competition in the hero shooter space that really has been needed. Overwatch, as decent of a game it is, staleness is just huge.
Yeah, a lot of players were frustrated with the gameplay loop, and I think the Rivals gave them something new to play, and Overwatch just said, okay, well, it'll just pass like all other hero shooters do, and Rivals is stuck.
I think one thing that's really interesting is the fact that even before Rivals, the reintroduction of Classic, and that really didn't probably do as much as they expected on the Overwatch team in terms of just revitalizing the player base. Kind of just seemed to be a short fix that didn't really do much, but they're going to have some sort of change or some sort of innovation to bring back those players. And it seems like they're going to be doing a decent job at it from...
Yeah, like I said, Marvel Rivals is forcing the Overwatch dev team to work overtime and forcing Blizzard to make some changes as Pickle Poet is back on the Ramatra. Deep Sea on the Reinhardt, the specialty. And is really going to struggle with these Ramatra punches. Is going to have to really play that hard cover, less than his shield. He's able to stay alive. Hopefully his supports can get him up as XNL falls. Deep Sea falls to D-Rag. And that's going to be an early tick over on the point for Wartburg.
One thing that I will say that I'm very glad is stayed consistent, at least between both the main hero shooters of Rivals and Overwatch, is just the instant ragdoll for death. You just see things go flying.
Yep. We love ragdoll physics. If you can get good ragdoll physics in your game, yeah, listen, you got a pretty good game on your hands.
Majority of the time.
As UNI's strategy here, Deep Sea swapping to the Mauga. A good swap into the Ramatra, you can really just you can just put so much pressure on that Ramatra and force him to play a bit more passive and not as, because if you get caught out, it's in trouble. As Deep Sea finding an early pick on Yugatoon. Man, fast fight.
Yeah, one thing
Deep Sea goes in, gets the knockdowns, team cleans up.
One thing that I haven't really seen much, at least in my terms of commentating and just running the Overwatch streams, is a Mauga pick on something that isn't pushed towards the end. I think that's really interesting because normally you see it, I see it almost as a desperation thing. So seeing it in actual main gameplay is really interesting.
I think it could be seen as a desperation thing, or maybe as a when in doubt pick Mauga, as he plays really well into most tanks into the game unless you're playing against like a D.Va, and even then you can kind of burn D.Va once defense matrix goes down, and he's just such a game disruptor, and he really requires a lot of focus in order to take down effectively. But Wartburg coming back with a window. They're coming up on Beat Drop and Pickle Poet, and Yugatoon's coming up on some ults here. Totoro also has the Venture ult. Mr. Circlap's gonna look to get an early pick with the Sojourn ult. And I admire the casters who know the names of all the abilities in this game. I do not. I know character and I know ability.
I sometimes even still struggle on the character, I'll be honest.
As Melga's got him where he wants him. Totoro coming in, a little combo there with the Mauga ult and the Venture ult, as UNI is going to ult dump and take over the point, and that could be first point.
It's going to be very close.
It's going to be close. It takes over very fast. I think Wartburg will get a touch, and they have 3 ults to take this back, so there's a very good chance here that we see them pop at least 2 of them to re-secure this point.
If they can even get... Oh yeah,
they got the touch. And here comes the ult dump from Wartburg. As, yeah, the ult dump works, the age-old tactic, the thing that works every time. Dump your ultimates, win the point, and that will be point 1 on Flashpoint. So UNI gonna have to quickly reset here. They seem to have found something that works in the Mauga, so maybe if they stick to it from the start rather than the Reinhardt that they had at the start of the first point here, I think they will have a better. They'll likely have a better chance here. For Wartburg, just keep doing what they've been doing. They've been playing incredible. Obviously, like I said, Pickle Poet's my new favorite player in this game. Pickle Poet's been very impressive. Yugatune's been very impressive as well. And obviously, all these players, you know, both sides having, you know, subs playing in. Everyone's stepping up. People stepping up, and that's the important thing. Is if you got players that can step up and you have that roster depth, you can be in a really good spot.
Yeah, the depth is arguably way more important than just having players that are good outright, because in things like this where if you need to swap players,
also
instead of just relying
you know,
on a few.
take it from me, you know, with personal experience last semester of us having exactly 12 Overwatch players last semester, you know, it's a scheduling nightmare if someone can't make it, because you have 2 teams that need to fill their rosters or forfeit. It's a scheduling nightmare to have to deal with no roster depth on either team. So having one team with, you know, 9 players or so has been excellent. You know, we don't have to reschedule as much anymore, and it's not as much of a scheduling nightmare. As Totoro falls down, Yugatune falls down, as both sides are fairly even right now. Mr. Sir Claps goes in, ults are getting dumped. XNL Kitsune gets invested. UNI investing 2 ults there, wiping the point. YOLO Tolo's gonna have to have a big beat drop here, and they're gonna have to find something to combo with that Reaper ult, because Reaper ult in and of itself really tough to land. I'm sure I almost wish to see that. I almost wish they had saved the. I almost wish they had saved the Orisa ult to combo with it. It's a really hard ultimate to use.
It's just the amount of space that players can get when they are able to run away.
However, Deepsy's gonna fall here. Gets a bit aggressive. Oh, we saw it for a moment there. Firing both shotguns at the same time. I love the perk system. I need to actually take some proper time and learn all the perks of the characters for casting purposes, so I actually understand what some of them do. I just get surprised sometimes. I'm playing in the game, and all of a sudden Bastion has his Overwatch 1 ult on a normal ability. That's crazy.
It is. It's really interesting, and I think it is gonna help the game a lot, because it's a lot different.
Malga ult comes out, but YOLO Tolo is there to match it with the beat drop. Yugatune investing the Venture ult. I think Yugatune saw like a bug on the ground and got scared. had to Venture ult it. As Totoro now on the Pharaoh, could be tough with the support line that he has. It obviously is going to require some additional focus from your supports to keep him alive. But you know, clearly they got to change something, because something isn't working. As they now have to not only reverse sweep on Flashpoint, but have to reverse sweep maps. As Doomrad finding a pick, Deep Sea finding a pick. Totoro's on point, uncontested, finds YOLO Tolo. And UNI will tick over the point.
Barely surviving there is Doomrad.
I wish in Spectator we could see stats, and we just can't. You can in if you have it set for competitive, but for the NECC rule set, I don't believe you can.
Yeah, because I know we had a game where it had the entire wall of stats.
Yes, for scrims it has the wall of stats if you have the scrim code, but I believe the NECC code doesn't allow all spectators to see scoreboards for whatever reason. I don't know if that's just a setting thing or if it's just...
I think it is. I think it's a setting thing.
Because when we do... So we do... This is my opportunity to plug one of our streams. Every on Wednesday nights we do Wednesday Night Overwatch, where we have all of our players. We draft team comps. We pick 2 team captains from our UNI players, and we draft team comps, and we just use competitive rules, and we can see stats in those games. So I wonder if it's just a custom setting thing.
I think it is, because, and I'll be honest, sometimes the default look of it is a little too much. I'll be honest. It's just a whole lot of white text on a half of the screen.
Yeah.
And so it kind of threw me off when I saw it, because I didn't set it. I was just kind of thrown off.
Yeah. Deep Sea finding Pickle Poet. Pickle Poet's struggling with this Mauga pick, though. Definitely is getting some big support from his team here to take the Mauga down. canceling the Reaper with the charge. Does he survive long enough? Gonna get some healing here. Too low. Orissa's back. They're still taking over that point. I think that's it, gang. That is it. A 4-0 Overwatch win for Wartburg to start off the day. I know the coaches out there are going to love it. The players got to love it, giving you a nice head start going into, you know, things like Mario Kart, Smash Bros. That I think are going to be very uphill battles for both sides.
Yeah, I think especially Smash Bros, given history that we've had, not exactly the best. Mario Kart, I'm really curious about it because, again, I haven't really seen much on our side. But there it is, the 4-0 final score for Overwatch 2. Thank you for tuning in to this part of the battle for the Cedar Valley. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we will have the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stream. So, I mean, you probably should turn off the stream for a little bit. Rest your eyes, rest your ears.
Go outside. It's nice outside.
It is very nice
If you're in the
outside.
Cedar Valley, at least, it's very nice outside today. Go outside, touch some grass. We're all gamers. We need to do it. It's healthy for you.
It's true. But yes, thank you, and, well, we'll be right back.